Hi, good morning everyone. This is Shiv Prasad Yadav. Now, in our previous sessions, we have discussed about the banking in ancient India and the bankers in ancient India, Srenis. And then we have discussed about the banking in medieval India and the bankers, Sarrafs, and the business people, Karwanis. Then we have discussed agricultural loans also, Takkavi loans. And in this session, this is the beginning of modern India, you can say. But I start with the banking in British India. So the base for British India banking starts with agency houses. Actually, agency houses were not actually commercial banks. No, agency houses were established to help out the Europeans which were doing trade activities in India. For example, you have East India Company. So, if there is any monetary requirement for these people, East India Company traders, for them these houses were established and these were agency houses. You cannot give a proper name like bank to these houses. Then we have a bank kind of institution established on the basis of a joint stock company. So initially in India we have agency houses. They were they're exclusively to help out the traders of European traders. And then you have joint stock company, and in 1770, only we have a pure bank like institution that is called Bank of Hindustan. Its spelling is HOO, Bank of Hindustan, but in the first half of the 19th century, it has been closed off. In around 1830s, it is established in 1770 and it has closed in 1830s. Then we have presidential banks. So three presidencies and three presidential banks. So one presidency is the most among the three presidencies. The richest presidency is Bengal presidency. So the very first bank in Bengal presidency, the second bank in Bombay presidency, and third one in Madras presidency. So this was established in 1806, this was established in 1840, and this was established in 1843. So the banking in British India starts with agency houses, followed by joint stock company. It's like present today. You have the Nidhi's concept in South India, so it is somewhat like that. And Bank of Hindustan in 1770. So it is Bank of Hindustan for in stock point of view only. It is more of GK rather than general studies actually. So here you have presidential banks, one presidential bank in Bengal and the next presidential bank in Bombay and the next presidential bank in Madras. And keep one thing in mind, Bengal means not present day West Bengal. Many of you know that. Bengal means present day West Bengal plus present day Bangladesh plus some part of Uttar Pradesh and even some part of Odisha also. So huge area, very fertile lands and a huge agricultural income. That's why Clive focused more on it after that Arcot siege of Arcot incident in South India at Madras. So it is a very rich thing in India in those days. So that's why Bank of Bengal 1806, Bank of Bombay 1840, Bank of Madras 1843. And these three banks were consolidated. I'm not using the word merging. Merging means if there is any worse activity or bad activity of the or bank is not performing well, then only we can say that, oh, okay, this bank is merged with that bank. But these three banks were consolidated to form Imperial Bank of India in 1921. So still that is British India only 1921. In 1921 we have Imperial Bank of India IBI. Later that bank has become State Bank of India. So the seats of present day commercial banking are in British India only. It started with this system only. Agency houses, joint stock companies, then you have Bank of Hindustan. One or the other way, these two are synonymous only, agency houses and joint stock companies. But I have separated because there is a possibility of learning two different words. So agency houses, joint stock companies, and 1770 you have Bank of Hindustan. In the middle you have number of banks are there. They are of stock point of only important. Like you have Punjab National Bank establishment is there, Bank of Baroda establishment is there. I'm not going to focus on those things. So exclusively I'm focusing on whatever the things are done by the British. So you have presidential banks. First presidential bank is Bank of Bengal, second presidential bank is Bank of Bombay, third presidential bank is Bank of Madras, and all these were consolidated in present day terms. We are used to the term merged. So they are merged to establish Imperial Bank of India in 1921. IBI, Imperial Bank of India, 1921. Now that Imperial Bank of India is nothing but State Bank of India. First State Bank of India was established, and then other princely state banks like Bank of Indore turned into State Bank of Indore, Bank of Patiala turned into State Bank of Patiala, Bank of Mysore into State Bank of Mysore. That is second part. That is complete nationalization of Imperial Bank of India. Partial nationalization of Imperial Bank of India is State Bank of India, formation of State Bank of India. Complete nationalization means when these princely state banks like Indore is the princely state. So there you have Bank of Indore, which is after independence turned into State Bank of Indore. You have Patiala. After independence, State Bank of Patiala, it made into State Bank of Patiala. After independence also, up to some extent, it is there like Bank of Patiala and Bank of Indore, Bank of Mysore. When all these were converted into state banks, that princely state effect has gone, and they were added into State Bank of India group. So State Bank nationalization, we cannot use that word State Bank of India nationalization because previously you have Imperial Bank of India. After independence, you are not supposed to use the word Imperial Bank because we are no more under the rule of queen or king. So as we are independent, we are supposed to do more related to our own. That's why Imperial Bank of India is turned into State Bank of India, and princely state banks were converted into state banks. When Imperial Bank of India is converted into State Bank of India, you can say that that is partial nationalization of Imperial Bank of India into State Bank. We are not allowed to use that word nationalization of state bank because before that you don't have any state bank, you have only Imperial Bank of India. That Imperial Bank of India turned into State Bank of India. So the most appropriate sentence will be nationalization of Imperial Bank of India into State Bank of India, that is partial nationalization, then followed by complete nationalization. When these banks, State Bank of Indore came, State Bank of Patiala came, State Bank of Baroda came, likewise. So that is after independence. I'll discuss it separately. So in 1921, you have Imperial Bank of India, and in 1934 and 35, there are very interesting things which are happened with respect to Indian banking system. In 1934, there is a committee called Hilton Young Committee. One of the finest economists till date is Hilton Young. If you have free time, try to read few lines about that individual. Hilton Young. Hilton Young Committee came to India to study about possibilities of central bank for India. But before that, something happened in 1773. In 1773, 1774, that Pitt's India Act or something like that, it is going on. In 1773, the then British Governor General requested the British government for two things. One is a central bank for India, and the second one is Supreme Court for India. The central bank request was rejected, and the Supreme Court was granted actually, which was established in Calcutta actually. So, whatever the history for Reserve Bank of India is there, it starts with 1773. The first request for Central Bank of India was made in 1773 actually by the then Governor General. He made two requests, one for Central Bank and one for Supreme Court. Supreme Court is granted at present. Initially, it was established in Calcutta, and no Reserve Bank or no central bank was granted. The reason behind request for a central bank is after Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, whatever the revenue collection responsibility is there, it went into the hands of the British. So more money, more money, more money is there in the hands of East India Company. So to organize that money, you need a central bank to organize all monetary aspects. As India is under their control, you need an organized institution, a centralized banking institution. That's why that Governor General asked for a central bank, and that request was rejected, and Supreme Court was granted. It is also related to revenue disputes only. To sort out revenue disputes, you need a centralized court, that is Supreme Court. One request rejected, one request accepted. And after 1773, again one more request for a central bank was made by the Indian contingency to the Round Table Conferences in 1933. So when this Indian contingency requested for a central bank, then they have sent a committee under Hilton and Young in 1934. So Hilton Young committee comes to India in 1934. And based on the recommendations of Hilton Young Committee, we have Reserve Bank of India Act, and we have Reserve Bank of India in 1935. So that is the history of establishment of Reserve Bank of India. It has huge history. It starts at 1773. So whenever it is related to Reserve Bank of India, this year is important, 1773, because first request was made for central bank. 1933, second request was made. 1934, Hilton Young Committee comes to India. 1935, finally we have Reserve Bank of India in India. So the first governor for Reserve Bank of India is Osborne Smith, and its initial paid up capital is around 5 lakhs. So that's not important in examination point of view. They're not going to ask such things. What is paid up capital? How many partners were there? What is the legal base of it? So nothing will be there. So when it comes to Reserve Bank of India, 1773, 1933, 1934, 1935. 1773 first request was made for the establishment of central bank. Second request was made for the establishment of central bank. 1934 you have Hilton Young Committee. 1935 finally you have Reserve Bank of India establishment in India. So this is all about the banking which is related to British India. Again, in our examination point of view, when it comes to examination point of view, level 1 exam, level 2 exam, level 3 UPSC civil services, what were the financial houses initially established in India? They were agency houses. Done. This is a very repeated stock question. Previously they used to ask in exams. Nowadays it has disappeared, but remember that the first bank in India is Bank of Hindustan in 1770, and somewhat relativistic importance is there for Bank of Bengal year, Bank of Bombay year, Bank of Madras year, establishment of Imperial Bank of India, and the history of Reserve Bank of India. And this Osborne Smith is somewhat important with respect to level 1 exams, and this Hilton Young Committee also. 1934 you have Hilton Young Committee. So this is also somewhat important in level 1 and level 2. So in UPSC civil services they are not going to make those sort of questions. So this is all about the banking in British India. I'll continue with banking in India after independence in my next session. Before I do some introductory part to banking. Thank you. That's all about this session now.